This is a quick update for anyone that wants to know where Bitcoin is heading to next in this turbulent time. Now, we spoke about Bitcoin earlier a few episodes ago, and we said that it's going to head up to the higher ranges around 71 to 74. A few episodes later, I did make a mistake and I said that we're going to ultimately drop down before we head to 71 and 74,000 US dollars. I was wrong. I'm going to put my hand up and say I was wrong. I should have trusted the charts more. Liquidity was taken from the downside in 2026 and the upside in 2026. Liquidity was taken from the bottom in 2022 and from the upper range in 2022. As a result, we headed back into the middle of the range. I'm anticipating liquidity to head back into the middle of the range just like this. Then further upside, like we discussed earlier, finally making a higher low in that range, and then we have our capitulation moment. Interestingly enough, the RSIs look almost identical. We had a RSI reading of 16.52 over here. We had an RSI reading of 23 over here. Then we got to the middle of the RSI of around 50.9, middle of the RSI at 56.2. I'm expecting drawdowns on RSI just the same as we had in 2022. We had a drawdown all the way to 20 again. Trust the charts. That's all you need to do. This is the 3-hour charts and it looks fairly similar. Now, fractals are just skeletons that we use for us to gauge where we are in the cycle. Now remember, we have a 4-year cycle, ladies and gentlemen. We have 1 year of bear and 3 years of a bull cycle. Therefore, these fractals are highly beneficial in knowing where we are in the cycle. Now, there are some liquidity areas that market makers tend to push. We had a liquidity push right over here at 73,980, and over here we had a liquidity push over here. Same thing applies in 2022. We had a liquidity all the way to 32, and thereafter we made a higher low. So what I expect next is vital. It's absolutely vital. We are going to form another higher low. Once we form that higher low, that is massive confirmation that this is going to play out. And like I said, Friday the 13th, March is the price I'm looking for a capitulation moment. In the middle of March, I'm expecting a fractal similar to this. This is the part where we have to pay attention to. Now, I know there are many participants that are saying that we're going to have a higher corrective period, meaning that we're going to head up even more higher and get more liquidations on the long side. I beg to differ. This fractal has played out, and even sometimes I've called for this to break, and maybe we're front running this fractal. However, it's just working to a T. For us to see lower prices, we need an upthrust. We need a liquidity sweep to make everyone very bullish for us to see sub 50k. Now, we've said this multiple times on our channel that this is a almost carbon picture of the previous bear market. We had an upthrust just over here. This is where I shorted from here, and I'm still holding onto my short, ladies and gentlemen, and it's in massive profits. To conclude, this black line right over here is the 200 EMA. Now, this has been one of the best times to actually buy, as you can see here and here and here and over here. Every time we've been underneath the 200 EMA has been a very good time to buy. We just kissed it, and as you are aware on this channel, I bought at 61,000 US dollars. We are going to head into this durably during a bear market. We always enter this area for prolonged periods of time. Now, the thing that people have to remember is during a bear market, we're not going to see a V-shaped recovery. A lot of folks have been conditioned because of COVID that we normally see V-shaped recoveries. That is not true. In markets, we tend to see a lull in the market and a drawdown for quite some time, a consolidation period for quite some time. We're still not in this consolidation period at the moment. We're entering a good period of consolidation. However, like you are aware on my channel, on the macro side, I'm looking for further downside. We've only durably been underneath the 200 EMA for just 1 week. Confirmed under 1 week. Bulls have stepped in, tried to fight the momentum, the downside pressure. However, this is not going to last long. I promise you, this will not last long. We're heading into a accumulation period, and that, my friends, is the best time to ever buy. This is going to be the accumulation period of a lifetime.